Yeah, man. That's part of why I'm gonna be doing the five fingers of life, or part of why I do the five fingers of life, rather. You hear that? Me too. Wife's in there reading to the kids, but all of a sudden, I don't know, crying broke out right as I was pressing record to actually um, do this album review on Maxo Kream's new album, Brandon Banks, out of Houston, Southwest Houston, to be exact. And yeah, I mean, just outbreaks. But you know what? That's going to be a part of this podcast. So if you know me and you know my podcast, then you know the kid element and the wife element is part of the whole five elements of the five things of life. But yeah, man. So I want to do this. I want to do this, and I'm doing this off the cuff. Like, this is my first time doing this. Welcome everybody to the podcast. This is my first time actually doing this. I got advice from a wise man. He told me start by doing some album reviews of music that I really enjoy, even old ones, new ones, whatever comes out. But this brother Maxo Kream out of Houston, A-Leaf, Southwest Houston. If you know me, you know that's where I'm from originally. But man, let me tell you, this album, Brandon Banks. He's a couple albums in, but this is like, I think, hands down, like his most polished album. If you never heard of Maxo Kream, if you never listened to any of his music, I would go back and listen to Punkin', and listen to that album first. But it's at your discretion, man. If you hear his music, you'll probably instantly like it. I don't know if you will, but coming from Houston, man, and I feel honored and privileged to be able to do this album as my first podcast or my first album review, just because he's from Houston, I'm from Houston. It was just like a perfect storm. It came out at the right time. But man, let me tell you, this album is probably, it's a tie between 2 Chainz, Trap or Go to the League, best album so far of 2019. We're at the end of July going into August, and I've been trying to find like great albums that's come out. Like Jim Jones dropped a gem this year, like he did last year, really good album. 2 Chainz dropped, like, man, like that Trap or Go to the League is probably, you know, he's like Scarface to me now. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a weird thing to say, and I'm gonna do a review on that as well. But man, I wanted to get into Maxo Kream first. I feel like, hey, he's from Houston, I'm from Houston, so what better way to start first than by just doing it this way? His this album is Houston embodied all the way through, and man, I definitely, if you're a fan of, they're reading books. My wife is acting. She's good at that kind of stuff. She's very artsy. Oh man, I'm not gonna even edit this. I'm just gonna post it. I'm not gonna edit it because it's funny to me. And if it's not funny to you, then keep living. But this album, man, is like hands down the embodiment of Houston altogether. I haven't been back. I haven't lived back home, in Houston. I don't know, man. I've been in Cali. I've been Oceanside, North County, Vista, Oceanside mostly. Man, probably like 20 years of my life. So it's a big chunk, about half of my life, and then I've lived in other places. But Maxo Kream really, really embodied the culture of Houston all in this. When I was listening to this album, man, it just brought me back to me being young down in Texas, like my time. Like old folks, like we like to say, oh, back in my day. And really, 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 listening to this album is kind of like, it gives you that back in my day feel. But I feel like he has brought a part of the past into the future, and meshed it together in a way where this guy's going to be on your radar for a very, 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 very long time. If I could equate it to anything that is like on a mainstream level, this is a bold statement what I'm going to make, and I'm going to say it, but this brother's like Nas. Like, this is like the Illmatic thing. Like, people are going to gravitate to Southwest Houston. Like, let me give it. I'm from Third Ward. I was born. Let me say this. I was born in Third Ward on Live Oak, and really Southwest. I mean, Houston is very spread out. There's a lot of different sections. There's a lot of different parts of the city, and the Southwest is just one part of it. And he's from A-Leaf, which is also a part of the Southwest just in itself. A lot of great people come out of A-Leaf. I have my family's from, you know, a lot of family in A-Leaf too. But man, this is like Illmatic, man. Like people are gonna gravitate to Houston specifically. Like it's gonna be crazy when this album catches traction, and it's gonna fly under the radar, much like probably Illmatic did. People are gonna hear it later and be like, "Yo, who is this guy? Who is this guy?" And I kind of feel like that's what's gonna happen with Maxo Kream. Like this dude is very, 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 like I said, Scarface level of talent. And it's gonna shine through. When you listen to the album, man, you'll know exactly what I mean. But this is like it's like an Illmatic. Like seriously, it's like an Illmatic of Houston now. You know, just like New York had a whole hip hop scene before Nas broke through, so does Houston. Rich history of legendary rappers, legendary DJ Screw, ESG, Zero, Lil Kiki. I don't want to disrespect and leave anybody out, like the Little Flips and Big Mo, Fat Pat. Like we have legends, Hawk. We have huge legends in Houston, right? And same way like New York was, they set this big stage for hip hop, and then Nas comes in and just gut punches the whole entire industry and culture with Illmatic. And I kind of feel like Houston has had this relationship with the music industry. Like, are they hot? Are they not? Is it gimmicky? Is it this? Is it that? Do lyrics come out of the South? They got Scarface, they got Ghetto Boys, but you know, what else do they got? Oh, okay, Lil Flip, but he got murdered by T.I. Like, yeah, people listen and they get in all of that, but you know, Houston has its own scene, man. Like realistically, you can be an independent artist in Houston and never have to leave your region, never have to leave Houston, Louisiana area ever, and make Hove money. You can make Hove money just in Houston alone, because Houstonians, we just Galveston County, Houston, everywhere. Like I don't want to just say Houston and just leave everybody out in the region, but we support our own. We support local, you know, artists. We support local rappers. So you can definitely do Jay-Z numbers just staying at home. Ask Slim Thug, right? Ask Zero. You know what I'm saying? Ask those guys. Ask Screw it. You know, R.I.P. if he was here, man. Like, you know, people. We stayed in Houston because of this. For this reason, because you can be independent and make the money that you see on TV. Oh, you can get that independently in Houston. But just because we support ourselves, and through that support is how I even started listening to Maxo, because I haven't been home in so long. I haven't lived there so long. I've been in California. So yeah, but you know, with all that being said, like, man, this guy is really, I think this is going to be an Illmatic. At least to me it is. To like, it really represents Houston, and people are going to gravitate toward this. Just how he goes list by list. Every song on here is truly, truly a banger. And I'll give you my, you know, my opinion. Like, I even let Jaden, my son, I let him hear a song called Change, like in the pre-orders, and my son was just like, wow, like who? He was like, yo, who? Like that? Who is this? Like who is this guy? And I was like, you know, I explained, I was like, hey, this is Maxo Kream. This is the artist out of Houston. Da 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 da. His album's coming out, and he was like, hey, let me know when the album actually releases. And I'm like, all right. So I'm excited to hear what his results, or what he thinks about it too. Being a Cali kid and me being a Texas kid, he'll probably hear a lot of me in it, because no matter how I try or how hard I try, I'm gonna always be Houston. Period. Hang it up. That's the way it's gonna be. I talk country. I'm gonna be country, but I'm not country. Like, you know, people don't get that. But yeah, man, I just wanted to, you know, do this review and let you guys know, hey man, go check the Maxo Kream out. I can't play any of the songs on the channel or on YouTube. But if there's a way I can get away with like snippets or something like that, if you guys have information on that, let me know again, because I'm new to this. But man, check out the album. I don't know if I could drop a link. If I can, I can. If I will, I will. But yeah, man, like, you know, like it, subscribe, like the channel, that's what they say. Yeah, like it, subscribe, let me know what you guys think. And if there's albums that are coming out that you want me to review, please do let me know. But yeah, man, I just want to get into the track listing real quick, because, you know, again, I can't let you hear the songs. You got to go out and listen to it. But the song Change, my son was like really crazy about it. You know, if you just listen to Meet Again, it's a good intro. Like, I guess he kind of adapted like a lyricist style, because I hate to say it, like New York style, but they did perfect the whole I'm gonna set you up with this dope intro and then a gut punch you, you know what I'm saying, with this intro and get your ear. And then that first song you hear is it's gotta deliver. And I think Cash Money did good at this when they had their run early in the game with like Juvenile. Like if you go listen to those Manny Fresh intros, man, beautiful, oh, great intros. But New York did that. You know what I'm saying? I can admit that. I don't know if it was the Bronx, the Queens, or whoever, but NY really did fantastic intros. And also like the Death Row intros back in the day. Like if you listen to Snoop's Doggy Style, which is what I grew up on, that intro is like flawless. Outside of 500 Degrees, that intro probably, this 400 Degrees. Sorry, my bad, Julie. Outside of that, that's probably the best intro, Doggy Style intro with Snoop. But yeah, man, Maxo Kream's intro on here is like really one of those. Hey, check this out. I'm finna show you and embody you. I'm gonna get your ear. I'm finna take you on this journey, and it's really good, man. He really grabs you to say, hey, I have something to say. The South does have something to say. Maxo Kream has something to say, and he does. He does deliver. I got to look up at the screen here. And then Bissonnette. Bissonnette is a street, very main street in Houston. A lot of things. I hate to say things, but there's just a lot of businesses, a lot of there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Bissonnette. It's like a central location just in Southwest Houston alone. There's a lot of central locations again, like LA, like Chicago, like New York. Houston is huge, man. There's a lot of different central locations, and Bissonnette is one of these places. And just like if any artist was talking about their section, like Jay-Z talks about Marcy, or Nas talks about Queens, or you hear Kendrick talk about Compton and things like that. He does the same thing here on Bissonnette. He will give you a lyrical view. Like again, man, this is based off the lyricism that this dude is bringing. He'll give you a lyrical view of Bissonnette, where like the main strip, like A-Leaf is where he's from. It's like a section. It's a city, like a city, sub-city. I don't know how you want to call it, but it's in the city of Houston. Probably said the laws come, HPD showing up. I guess that's the best way I can explain it, or the sheriff. So there you go. But it's all the same. So he gives a breakdown, gives you a visual of walking through that. But his lyrical content, man, wow. Like this dude is like a 10. Like, again, I'm harsh when it comes to grading myself. I know we're all our own worst critic, but man, I'm extra hard on people. People will say, hey man, can you tell me how this is? And I'm like, you might not really want me to tell you, because I'm really gonna tell you, and I probably rub some people the wrong way, rightfully so. But lyrically, man, this dude really delivers 100%. Just on the intro, on Bissonnette. Again, city, it's a street in Houston. Bissonnette is a street in Houston. Really talks about that. I talked about change a little bit. The impressive thing about change was that my 16-year-old Jaden was like shocked. So, and there's great music coming out now, so that lets me know that Maxo can connect with the younger generation that's coming up, but as well he can capture the older heads, man. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. The Relays with Travis Scott was an interesting pick for me. I didn't think I would like this song. And my first pass, I was like, man, I don't want to hear Travis Scott. He just came off of Astroworld. It's hot. Then I was like, well, dang, man, Travis Scott dropped a hot album. He also did similar things with Embodying Houston, in a way where he engulfed himself in the culture, party culture, Drake, that side out of the, and this is still the Five Fingers of Life. They're still kids. Digging into the Refresh Kingston, crying. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna keep going through it. I'm not gonna edit this because that's one of the five. And he swallowed a penny today, so I'm monitoring him too. Like, weird. It's a crazy kid. But yeah. Just talking about the relays in the song. The song is called The Relays. The song is called The Relays, and I just thought Travis Scott did a good job with kind of bringing a certain culture or a certain element to Houston and then back though here Maxo Kream dropping more of a lyrical idea or content of something very, very, very dear to Houston. This whole album embodies Houston the same way Travis Scott did with Astroworld. So it's wonderful. So the Relays is an event that we have here up the Southwest, down in Texas, really. And they're just talking about it. And then what I mean by, like, when I was saying like Maxo Kream gravitates, he brings the old with the new. When I was coming up, man, the Kappa Beach Party was it. That was live. The Kappa. Do your research on, because this video is already going long. I wanted to do 10. Looks like it's gonna be 20. But go check out the Kappa Beach Party mixtapes. Like Slim Thug used to, like DJ Screw, Swish. Like, man, hey, let me tell you, man, the Kappa Beach Party was it. If we had social media back then, I'm sure I'd be saying, hey, this is the Slim Thug, or this is what Zero did, or, this is what Fat Pat did. Like, the legends that I grew up with who are still legends, I would definitely say, Maxo Kream probably has figured that portion of the culture out, and the Relays is something now that exists. Kappa's gone. They call it something else. I don't even know if it still exists, but it was pretty crazy. But the Relays is something, and him and Travis Scott, how appropriate, they got on the track and just killed it all together. Again, giving you a visual. They're going to take you on a walk of, an event that we have down in Houston, like Freaknik in Atlanta used to be. I don't know if they still do that, or your festival. And then on eight figures, man, a hustler's hustler. I got to give this dude so much. Respect. Again, lyrically, man. Like I was telling you, like this guy is the new. I don't want to say the new Scarface. He's just Maxo Kream, and he's got his own thing for the new school. No mumble rapping. 8 figures. Go. You'll figure it out. She lives with Megan Thee Stallion. Also another. Hey, Houston is hot right now. I'm telling you, if you really want to hear some really, really, really dope hip hop music, as Pimp C would say, these country rap tunes, Houston is really on the rise right now. Megan Thee Stallion, I'm pretty sure you already know about her, so she's getting on the track with him. You can figure out how that goes. Then he has a Drizzy, Draco, party track, one verse, are very dope. Again, just, man, I want to say so much, but I got to keep this video short. Just check out that album, 3 a.m. featuring Schoolboy Q. Man, this to me is the best song, and it's not just because Schoolboy Q, of course, is like, he's one of my favorite artists out of the West Coast, man, hands down. Schoolboy is dope. And then for him to get on the track with Maxo, and I'll let you figure out why they got on the track together, which is just all itself a beautiful thing, and also shows how California has the hugest impact on Houston, man. Like LA has a major impact on Houston. Like Houston is, a melting pot from all different sections, and it is amazing, man, because you can get so many different things out of Houston, so many great things. Like everybody might do something good. Oh, he does this pretty good, or he does that pretty good. Houston has found a way to perfect everything, man, and it's a great thing if you can learn how to dig into it. Like, again, I think Maxo Kream is like the next Nas, man. This brother is talented. He spits. But what he's doing with Schoolboy Q on 3 a.m., if you don't know, like 3 in the morning is a thing in Houston, DJ Screw type of thing. And to have Schoolboy Q come on in there, I'll let you listen to it so you can take out what you want from it. I know, and if you're from Houston and you know that 3 in the morning has a perfect representation. The next track, number 9, is Spice Lane, another very, very popular, I can't say popular, that's not the right word, but a very, very known area, very known street on the Southwest again. And I don't want to take away from what he's doing on that track. I'm gonna let you go out there and listen to it, and I don't want to speak too much on things that I'm not gonna speak on something that I'm not extremely familiar with. I got family there. Don't get me wrong. I have family there, or will have, or may have been at some point there. But I'll let that happen. My brother know what I'm talking about. Murder Block featuring ASAP Ferg. Then you have number 11, Pray to the Dope. Wow. Yeah, man. I can truly, and not to just skip over Murder Block, but again, just total Houston album. But then Pray to the Dope. If number 11, if you've been a dope boy, you know about that lifestyle. You listen to artists and you listen to rappers all the time, and you can tell who's lived that life and who hasn't lived that life. You can tell. Real hustlers can tell. And I'm not saying I was ever a real hustler or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, you can tell. And you can tell Maxo has been in and about that life 100% on Pray to the Dope. It shows, if you're a believer, it might make you think things differently. But if you're a believer that has been saved your whole life, you might not get it. But understand that this brother, he's a believer in all his music. You will know. If you listen to him long enough, you're going to know that this brother is definitely a believer. But when this track, Pray to the Dope, is probably my favorite track on here. It is extremely, like I said, Scarface, man. Like Nas, like it'll make you really sit down and think. And if you're a deep boy, and you know what I'm saying, you'll know that he knows what he's talking about. Now, number 12, Brenda. Oh, man. Growing up in Houston, man, we grew up with a lot of different, again, like styles. But Tupac is king when it comes down to, gangster rap or lyricism altogether. We do, like I didn't know about Nas until I was like 19 years old and I had moved out of Texas. We knew Biggie and stuff like that, Bone, but really Tupac was it. It was like Tupac or you were really listening to, our local artists. Like I didn't grow up listening to Nas. I didn't know who Jay-Z was until I heard the song Big Pimpin'. Like that's how asinine is that, right? I didn't even know who he was until he got UGK for Big Pimpin'. Crazy. I didn't know who Nas was until I heard Looking Out of My Private Window when that came out. And, Nas had dropped Stillmatic. And that's when I found out about Nas. And then I went back and I was like, man, I learned about Big L. Then I learned about, Pun. And I learned about Big, like the intricate insides of it. Not just, I heard this guy on the radio. Was more detailed. But Brenda, man, this dude, Maxo has lyrics, man. Has lyrics for days. Again, totally like Scarface. Like Scarface, was a perfectionist of lyricism. To me, Scarface is the greatest lyricist that ever walked the earth. Better than Pac, Nas, everybody. Scarface is the lyricist of all lyricists. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just if I could just get like his lyrics in a book, man, I could be entertained forever. Like I don't listen to Scarface every single day because I grew up on it, but I can go back and listen to Scarface to get through a hard time today. It's 2019. You know what I'm saying? He was hot before I was even, before I was growing up. So I just grew up naturally with it. But also when Pac hit, it was just like it. And so Maxo Kream is really bringing, again, that old head. Like if you were a Pac head, if you like J. Cole, like because J. Cole does that too, Maxo, man, really kills the game because Brenda's Got a Baby. That's the song that Pac did. And it's just kind of like showing another side of Brenda. It's really good, really good. Brothers, man, when I heard this song, and it's featuring KCG, I did not want to let that on number 13. I grew up with three brothers, and you know what I'm saying? I had to immediately send this song to all my brothers so they can go back and listen to it. If you have siblings, even sisters or anything like that, it'll definitely touch your heart and bring you close to home. Derry Ashford Bastard. Derry Ashford Road, again, Southwest, very known place. It's like the fourth place I was telling you about in the South. This is how big the Southwest is, or populated or popular it is. Derry Ashford is another very known spot or road, street area in Houston. And with the word bastard, it probably should give you some type of indication of him being fatherless or not having a father in some form or shape. And know that I listened to some of his interviews, and the album Brandon Banks itself, that's his dad's. I don't want to give all. I want you to go look at Maxo's interviews, and he tells you why he named this album Brandon Banks. I want you to go back and listen to it. But him with the Derry Ashford Bastard, we live in a culture in a world and a society where we're fatherless homes. Like maybe our dads really wanted to be there, but for whatever reason they can't. You know, it's not always, well, your daddy ain't, daddy ain't it, and then he's just gone. You know, my mom, I didn't grow up like that. My mom was like, your dad was great. He's a good dude, but just things happen, and that's just it. So I didn't grow up with this idea of my dad being a certain way, and it sounds like Maxo, has that same thing. Like, man, my daddy wasn't a bad dude. So, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and listen to it. Derry Ashford, Bastard, dope track. And then the last song is still very emotional track. You know, just yeah, man, just check it out, man. There's not one song on here that I would tell you to skip through. Like, if you're a fan of lyricism, if you're a fan of, like hip hop, like, and it's weird for me to say that for artists coming out of Houston, because you just don't get that. Like Bun is, doing his best to be that, like, teaching in class and stuff like that, and teaching at Rice as a professor. Like, I get it, because your literature game is like Bun's literature game. I aspire to try to speak like Bun. Like, that dude is on another level with his literature. And man, like, I was like, seriously, man, Maxo really brings a level of lyricism that I've never ever heard come out of Houston, man. And for me, again, being hard to impress, man, that's saying a lot. So, parental advisor, he's a hustler's hustlers. He's probably gonna be your favorite, hustler's rapper, or your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, or whatever you want to call it. That's probably what's gonna be the case for this. Like, dude is talented, man. If you haven't got on the Maxo Kream train, just give him a shot. Give him a chance if you love music and if you love lyricism. Something I would definitely check into. And I just want to apologize for this first video that I'm shooting, as far as being a album review being so long. I was trying to get it to be 10 minutes. So if you make it all the way through this, man, thank you. Like and subscribe. I appreciate you making it all the way through this long video. That's long. 30 minutes is long. I don't know who's gonna make it through this, but if you make it to the end of this, man, just know that I appreciate. Even if you don't make it to the end of it, I still appreciate you at least checking it out. Shout out to Maxo Kream, Brandon Banks. Go get the album and just enjoy, man. It's really, really, again, man, just a proud moment in Houston history, man. And shout out to Lil Kiki, man. For some reason, every time I start talking about Houston artists, man, I just kind of put Kiki on this different pedestal, man, because he's like the OG of it all. Like, him and Screw was like the first two I ever heard of, like a duo, like hip hop duo. Like, Lil Kiki was it, like DJ Screw and Lil Kiki. So I just wanted to also say that, man, from the SUC. My bad, Lil Kiki. Kiki, if you ever see this, man, just shout out to you, man. But everybody, I appreciate you, checking in. Sorry this video was long as all get up. Again, I'm just trying to figure it out, but I appreciate you, man. Thanks.